The ghost light, a single bulb left center stage after each performance, has traditionally served as a supernatural offering to those who came before us and those we have lost, to ensure that the theater, their theater, never goes dark.
That the magic of theater continues. Theaters from Broadway to the West End, Los Angeles to Savannah may be closed for now, but their ghost lights remain lit.
Our spirits remain hungry, our responsibilities clear. We look at this as an opportunity, a chance to build on the work we've done.
A chance to embrace our theatrical roots and create new adventures.
What we do now paves the way for the years to come, for the Savannah rep of the future.
We promise that the ghost light will burn brightly until it is safe to begin again.
It is our responsibility to carry on the traditions that precede us. We are Savannah Rep.
A home for great stories and great theater. The hands of the clock will move again, and this is not the end of the story.
It's a new beginning.
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 And we'll see you soon.
Do we have places? Okay. Do you need me to page them? Okay, thank you. All right, and checking in with the conductor. You all set? Have a good show, Maestra. Any places? All right. Let's do this. Have a good show, everyone. Stand by house to half and house out. House to half. Go. Lights 2 and house out. Go.
That was so anticlimactic. I wanted to see what would happen if it went straight to that screen instead of my face. I wanted to see, like, we have the propulsive music and we have all the credits and stuff, and then nothing. Then literally the logo. And now I'm here. Hi, my name is Ryan McCurdy. It's Friday at 5 p.m. Welcome to OnStageOff, episode 007. Episode 007. I decided to put 2 zeros in front of the episodes because that way if we got to 100, it wouldn't break everything. Are we going to get to 100? I promised I would do this show until we were performing live on stage again. So will I get to 100? This may be the first time in my life that I'm going to say I hope not. There's also been some discussion that we could change the title of the show when we're performing again and call it Off Stage On and just, do it whenever we felt like it. We can do that. Hey, I'm throwing an email up below. It's whatsup@savannarep.org. Basically, to make this show, in case you're not aware what goes on every week, first, I do my hair. Second, I put on this shirt. Third, I email literally all the kind, wonderful people I know in the theatrical arts and ask them if they will do this ridiculous thing with me. So far, a lot of really wonderful people have said yes, but that was also, I started this show when I thought we were going to be performing sooner than we might. So if you have someone that you think might be fun on the show, it takes 20 minutes of literally talking to me. So if you think that your friends, your collaborators in the arts can put up with that, I encourage you to have them email whatsup@savannarep.org. Please only submit friends, not enemies. I would appreciate that. If you want to talk to the guests and to me during the show today, live on Facebook or live on YouTube, you can comment in the video stream, and it will pop up here in my world, and if I am paying attention, I will ask questions of our guests or bring you into the conversation. I pray that I will be paying attention. Get rid of my name because that's no longer important. What's important is that we have an incredibly cool show today. Our first guest is an actor, a writer, a producer, and they're coming right here to talk right now. Without any further ado, please welcome Laura Darrell to the show. Hello!
Hello!
How are you?
I'm great. I feel like that title sequence was the closest that I've ever gotten to being in a Marvel movie thus far. It's like the music was epic. I saw my name. I was like, yes.
Your name, which, I mean, I know how to spell your name, but you have no idea how long I sit in front of the computer before every show making sure all the names are spelled correctly.
I'm sure.
I had this moment. I was programming the very first one, and I went to they shall remain nameless, but I went to a very famous regional theater's website where the person had been on a similar show, and the name was spelled wrong in two places.
Oh.
And that's not the kind of show I'm trying to make. So, yeah.
And people know that. People can get a sense that you're the good kind of person that makes an effort.
Thank you. Speaking of making an effort, you have a really cozy, wonderful friend making an effort with you today. You have someone in your lap. This person is named Samwise Gamgee.
Samwise Gamgee. Yes, Lord of the Rings. Yes, a bit of a nerd.
And my axe. Important follow-up question. Is Samwise your manager, and is Samwise making sure I'm not asking inappropriate questions during this interview?
He is. He's a little worried. He just wants to make sure that I'm calm and that I stay on point. So
Great.
he's a good manager.
I'm known for throwing softballs. So let's start with the softball. What are you doing with your life? Nope, let's not do that. Let's start with a real softball, which is a lot of people know you from work in a lot of mediums, theater, TV. I want to talk about a show first of all that you did a few years ago, and I have a picture of it here. It's called Kid Victory. In fact, I love your name very much, but I'm going to take it off so everyone can enjoy this picture. Can you tell us a little bit about the heritage of this show, how you became involved with it, and then we'll talk a little bit about its creators and your relationship with them.
I got involved pretty early on in the process. I think I was brought in when they hadn't even finished Act 2. So it was a workshop or a reading. We all just sat around the table. Actually, one of the first people, well, actually, there were, how many times am I going to say actually? There were many mothers, but I remember Marin Maisie was with us for one of them, and we actually did early demos. I got to do early demos of the show with her, which was an incredible experience because she was one of the people that inspired me to enter the theater. So yeah, I mean, it was years. It must have been 4 or 5 years until it got up. I think and we were in DC before we came to Off Broadway. So,
and a lot of shows don't run that particular model anymore. But you really did sort of the regional development push to come to New York, and which I think is such a really honest way to make a show. Do you feel how many of the people that were circling the show with you also ended up on stage with you at the end, and how many cast members, for our folks who are watching it may not know how many people it takes to make these, how many cast members do you think you worked with total in the course of its evolution that you were in?
Ooh, good question. I mean, I think I'd have to recount how many people are in that cast, but I think there were 9. And I think from start to finish, Jeffrey Denman wasn't with me at the very beginning, first couple of readings. It was another gentleman. But Jeffrey Denman played the abductor. Yes. And we were the only 2 people that went from DC to Off Broadway. So worked with, I don't know how many people, 30 to 40, maybe.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, because there were readings and workshops, and then out of town, and then I'm in New York.
It's kind of crazy too. I have a lot of friends who have done a lot of those types of cycles, and it's crazy to you'll lose your friends for a production and gain new friends, and then an iteration later your original friends are back, and it's so crazy because so much of it is that there are these 2 parallel things always happening with theater development, which is that the show is a slog and takes so long, and actors are constantly having to move around and create new opportunities for themselves. So the fact that you stayed with it is incredible. I mean, it's kind of exceptional that you were there the whole time.
They couldn't get rid of me.
No. And I actually, and I don't know that I didn't get to see the show, but I know the album on which you are also immortalized, and it's a really beautiful show. There's a collaborator on it that a lot of people may not recognize by listening to the album, but would definitely recognize by name. You worked with John Kander on that show. Obviously, famously of one half of Kander and Ebb, who are, so many shows I don't have to list. But what was your personal experience working with someone that, had 6 decades in the theater by the time you were working with them?
I mean, working with a man like John Kander is it really sets the bar high. And it also, you realize just like, he's just such a good person. He's so kind. And so when people are kind of nasty in the theater, you just think back to somebody like John Kander, and you're like, you don't have to be this way, because I've worked with a legend, a man who could have every right to be, just like a task, somebody people didn't really like being around, an egomaniac, but he's not. He's so gracious. So he was. I took note of that, and I was like, I want to be a professional working in the theater and film and TV like he is, because he's doing it right.
That's great. And just, I think it's so interesting too, as a collaborator, my understanding from the multiple teams that he worked with across his exceptional contributions to the theater, lots of teams. And what I think is amazing is that idea that when you separate, the team itself is inevitable because when you separate Kander from Ebb, the music is still brilliant but has a very different feel. I don't think a lot of people are really aware at what it is that a 2 or 3 person team really makes up. I mean, obviously all their shows didn't even sound the same, but there's sort of that quality that emanates from Chicago to Cabaret to The Visit. Like they have a sense about them, and his work on Kid Victory sounds like nothing else I'd ever heard in his canon, but is still really beautiful, which is
still really beautiful. Yeah, I would agree. He kind of morphs and changes, and yet there's always that signature John Kander structure that I really love. He's such his grasp of melody is so beautiful. He doesn't get to me, he can get complicated within the simple, but he understands how to do that. Whereas I think a lot of composers, especially today, feel like this need to be like super complex and complicated. And I think there's something divinely beautiful about understanding a beautiful melody and not needing to get too frilly with it.
I think, and I have heard that part of that competition from what we consider to be sort of our modern musical theater composers, a lot of the competition is there are 2 things happening at once, that they're trying to appeal to their audience, or they're trying to make a show that looks like it took some effort, and they're also in competition with all of their Manhattan School of Music friends and all their Juilliard friends. There's this heightened sense of like needing to write something that is impressive inside of their own element as well as being accessible. And it always seems like Kander is able to write. He's writing directly to his audience, and it doesn't seem like he's in competition with anybody. Which is who was Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
He's also not. I'll just say he's not precious too. I mean, there's stuff that he's going to fight for, at least in my experience, my limited, humble experience with him. But I got to work, for several years on the show with him, and I feel like he does a good job of. There were times when Lisa Tommy would say, this isn't really working in this moment. I need something else here, and John would just come up with something and he would be like, this. we're all like, you just made that up. But then, a week later in previews, she'd be like, this, we're losing on the momentum. We need to scrap this. And he was like, okay, I trust you, so it's just like, I've seen composers who had a lot less on their resume get a lot more fired up. And he seems, I think it's because he's probably been in the business long enough. He picks and chooses his battles but when he stands up for something, you know that he wants it.
That's a great way to be. It's like the not crying wolf as a theater maker, which is cool. Right. Now you were doing outdoor theater before it was cool. You had a very well reviewed run as Cinderella in Hudson Shakes's Into the Woods, and is it possible that was just, I mean, not a summer ago, but not a summer, the summer before this summer, which kind of vanished into the mire. Yeah. That was just that recently, right?
Yes, it was last year.
Yeah, before Hudson, obviously, I've worked with Hudson before as well, and there's this pride that whole team has, where the shows that they're making, they can put whatever they want into that tent and outside, and it becomes this sort of like high wire act of the types of theater that they can do out there. What was your experience doing like one of the most famous of the Sondheim musicals in that space?
I mean, Sondheim is he's one of my favorite composers ever. And I had just done Sweeney Todd off Broadway, and then booked this with Jen Thompson. And Hudson Valley was such an amazing place to work at. It's beautiful. They've moved now, but I understand where they're going to move to is going to be just as gorgeous. I mean, we had this vista, as you know, over the Hudson River and the Hudson hills, mountains. And
you turn one way and you get and then you get the river with the hills, and you turn the other way and it's the hills going up the other direction. It's a flawless view. Yeah,
it's gorgeous. And then Into the Woods is all about these fairy tale characters getting into scrapes in the woods, and then it's also a giant metaphor, of course. And so actually being outside, being under the moonlight and in the dark and feeling that energy definitely, I think, fueled the show and really worked well. And we had people that came back 3-4 times. And then we also had a lot of celebrities come by, including the Clintons, which was interesting. Whenever the Secret Service come in and like scan your theater, you're like, what's going on?
Well, it was one of those things. The show, it opened. I remember watching its press journey. It opened with good advanced word, and then just the word of mouth really took off. Somewhere in there, amidst all the stuff you've been doing on stage last couple of years, you managed to also produce and star in a film.
Yes.
Which I have a screen cap from it. The film is "Oh for a Muse of Fire," and this is a screen cap. My question to you is this you acting in your responsibility as a producer or in your responsibility as an actor?
Both.
Okay.
I think, it was actor, but I was tapping into my producer anger.
Now, I always tell guests that they don't have to list all their own laudits, because I will for them. This is the picture that I have found of all the things that your film accomplished in its first run. Could you, for our audience, give us a little bit of a sort of a quick overview of what the film is and where you can see it in this very strange era where we don't go to theaters anymore?
Right. Well, so I forgot your first question.
The first question is, what is it about? And the second question is, where can one person like myself find it to watch it?
I was like, I know you can see it, but what?
No, well, we could also just make it a mystery. You could only tell people where it is and say, you won't know what it is until you buy it.
Exactly.
It's like Amazon.
It's on Amazon. No, it's not on Amazon yet. But it's.
Why'd you look at me angrily when you said that? It's like, it's not on Amazon yet. It's like, I don't control that all. But
Ryan, I have high expectations for you. I need you to work your magic here. So it was mostly an idea that came from my collaborator Pete Rowan, who I met in the audiobook world, actually, but he went to film school, and we've been collaborating. This was our third film together, so we've been messing around for a while, a little bit at least, and every film we learn something. But this was about kind of a struggling artist's journey. It's not autobiographical, although there have been times where the struggle's been real. But just kind of tapping into how do we stay inspired, and that inner critic that we have in our heads. How much good are they doing? How much bad are they doing? If we got rid of them, what would happen? What's their function? What's their role? And so we created a short film, 11-minute film about it. And we shot in Maine, Moosehead Lake. So it's really beautiful. If nothing else, watch the film just to see a beautiful lake.
You're so ahead of the curve. You did an outside production, and then you shot a film in Maine, which is now suddenly well known as, one of the safest places to be in the United States.
It really is, yeah.
And one of the most beautiful as well. So, and it is where? It is available where then, if not
so,
Amazon?
So we premiered at the Maine International Film Festival. So got to go to a drive-in and see the big screen, and but it was also kind of at the height of the pandemic, so there wasn't as much filmmaker socializing as I would have enjoyed, but everybody was staying safe, and that was a really good thing. And then it was part of the New York International Short Film Festival, and that was online for quite a while. The other film festivals that we've gotten into, we're waiting to see if there's a way to do them in person, just because, there's only so many times you can go online and do that whole thing. It's just been a really interesting year, I think, for a lot of film festivals and film screenings. So I don't know if some of those are going to get pushed to next year. So hopefully there'll be some big screen opportunities for people who are in the New York area. But as of now, I do have it on my website, so you can go there.
Wait, I can go to your website and watch it right now.
Go to my website and watch it, because we've done the online thing. So anything that happens now will be in person and part of that festival.
Perfect. I love that you are letting people enjoy something meaningful that you created in the way that you can, knowing that it will come back. I feel like that's very much the same way there's a lot of conversation now about the fact that bootlegs of Broadway were the beginning of a good idea, which was the idea that if you make a certain the type of art that is available at the moment accessible, then people will come back in person. Which, I mean, Hamilton was released in an era where it couldn't be gone to be seen in person, but I think a lot of people are so revved up now after seeing it on Disney Plus that the tickets will be through the roof again as soon as we're back.
I think so, and this is only the beginning. I mean, third film, we still made a few errors. Like, we shot one day entirely on a dirty lens, but I think it adds to the guerrilla outdoor character of the film. But I in no way am I like, this is it, and I'm staking my career. This is just the beginning for me as a filmmaker, collaborating with Pete. So.
You had a dirty lens. I had a fellow student in film school who got the nickname as a junior and senior of Lens Cap, and I'll give you a hint. It wasn't because the lens cap was off. So dirty lens, at least you still get like that avant-garde sort of Fellini feel. It's when the lens cap is on, it becomes an audio drama real quick.
Yeah, right, there you go.
Laura, I had said I was going to talk to you about squirrels and woodpeckers, but you're far too interesting, and we've filled our time talking about your career. Which is good. You also answered my first original question, which was, what are you doing with your life? Obviously, the answer is amazing things, and we are all grateful that you came here to hang out with us for a little bit today.
Thanks for having me, and I think what you're doing is so incredibly valuable. Just keeping artists talking to each other and figuring out a way to bridge into the new tomorrow. So thank you for having me and all the good work you're doing.
Thanks, Laura. Would you run Samwise Gamgee, run the interview by Samwise and tell me if it met with his approval? Oh, there's a smile.
I think he's satisfied. He likes this set. It's a good set.
Excellent. Thank you again. We will be talking to you so soon, and I see you every Sunday at Bespoke Place, so I'll see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday.
Bye, Laura. My first guest was actor, producer Laura Darrell, and special guest Samwise Gamgee. I hope I don't have to pay twice for Samwise's participation. That smile at the end seemed to be a profit share sort of smile. So I'm going to go discuss that while we run this ad for a product that is not one of our sponsors. And we'll be right back with Chris Bass.
Oh, I see food drink. I see. Just got a new drink. I see. Now there is a cooler. It's candy apple cooler.
High C Candy Apple Cooler. Made with real fruit juice with a full day's supply of vitamin C. So cool, it's cool enough for me.
Candy apple cooler. High C, we drink High C.
That's correct. We are not sponsored by 1980s High C. I just want to make sure there is no confusion about that before we move forward with the show. My next guest is an actor, a filmmaker in the modern idiom. He's a really great guy, and he and I talk a lot on Facebook Messenger with things that I think are amusing, so I brought him here to say more amusing things to me. Please welcome Chris Bass to the show. Hey!
Hey!
How are you, Chris?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good indeed.
Turnabout is fair play. You've had me on your show so many times. Thoughtfully, I realized it was time to have you on mine. How are you?
Well, I appreciate you having me on the show, Ryan, and I'm doing very well today. I should say that I coordinated with your wardrobe because I know about the blue shirt, and I, in fact, have a very similar blue shirt and thought that it was apropos that I wear it today, as well as the headphones. I think the headphones also are what you're wearing now. Maybe? I thought I saw some.
I've got one in. There it is.
Oh, good. I've got two in because I have to be that much more.
You do. Your show has to be better than mine. Your earphones had to be better than mine. Well, if only in this moment I had something embarrassing to show. I had promised I wasn't going to show this picture because I don't try to embarrass my guests. So if I have pictures of them in ridiculous costumes from musicals like Mamma Mia, I definitely don't show those pictures. But you've tempted me. This is you in Mamma Mia, Chris Bass. I guess my first actual question to you is, can you explain any of that?
The only word that can come to mind for that ensemble is codpiece. Because that is it's something else. When they showed that to me, I thought, okay, this is supposed to happen. Do you want me to shave my chest? They said no. So I went ahead and bore the full hairy manly chest that I had. And then, of course, Matthew Meese beside me with his bare chest. So
let's go back.
It was something.
It seems like Mike Zoller did not have a choice in the matter.
Mike Zoller is a man among men. Let me tell you that.
He's a paragon.
He is. He's definitely a paragon.
Chris Bass, a lot of people, what I love about this show is when I have my New Yorkers on, my Savannians get to learn about them and how cool they are. When I have my Savannians on, my New Yorkers get to learn about them. For those that don't know your history, when did you start acting? What do you do when you act? And what ungodly thought process was it that made you create an organization to try to bring us all together? Tell us about that.
Well, the initial time that I started acting was actually my son was involved with the Savannah Children's Theater here in Savannah. He was taking a class show. They do these class shows. And he himself didn't actually grow a passion toward the theater at all. But while we were there, someone behind the desk said, "Hey, we have some auditions." And I said, well, he's not interested, so he's not going to do an audition for sure. But they said, "No, we want you." I said, okay, sure. So long story short, I was in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, not, of course, the Into the Woods Cinderella, which is also amazing. And your past guest has done 2 princesses, I believe, in recent years.
That's true. I try not to bring up the obvious things on my show, but yes, my last guest was one of the princesses in Frozen, one of the originals.
Nice.
To grace the role.
Yes.
She's watching in the green room, and she's smiling.
Oh my gosh, I just feel so amazed and astounded that I get to share this small cubicle space with Anna.
With a real honest to God princess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Chris, you're changing the subject from talking about yourself.
And I do that. So basically, I've been acting here in the Savannah community for almost 10 years. And about 2 years ago, during our final performance of Mamma Mia, I felt the urge to...
Here we go again.
Oh, what am I doing?
No, you said the name of the show, and I said, here we go again.
Here we go again. Yes, exactly. Very good. I felt the urge to bring it home and try to talk to the community at large about what's going on, what everybody's doing, and really try to form a place in between all the different theaters where they could talk to one another. So at that point, I came up with this idea of the Savannah Performance Project, which was a calendar of events. Yes, not very easy for me to say, but a calendar of performance events here in Savannah that gets the word out there about what's going on, and lets everybody know that not only the community knows that performance is going on, but the different performance groups know that each other is performing and can kind of plan what they're doing and not try to overlap each other so much.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
And I feel like, where do you feel like you are? Did you have a goal in mind when you started SPP? And do you feel like you've achieved something along the way to that goal? Or did you create it to just be whatever it needed to be? Do you know what I'm saying? Are you along a certain path that you had set for yourself? Or is everything that happens just sort of a nice surprise?
I think I would say 50% nice surprise and 50% it is going along the way that I thought it would go. And that's basically to open the conversation. And again, when this all started, and this being us quarantining ourselves in separate places, I had planned on having a meeting with all of the different community groups and us actually talking and planning stuff out. But at the same time, everything closed down. So that kind of shut down. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? And the first thing that came to mind was, well, I could talk to people because I like talking to people. And so hence the Savannah Performance Project quarantine interviews started. And I think you were my third guest.
I was your third guest. I think you're 42nd, somewhere around there.
Yeah. 42nd, third.
I had learned so much more by my second appearance.
Exactly.
Now you were trying to do them. You got to a lot of episodes very quickly because you were trying to do them every day for a hot second there.
Yes.
Which watching you do that is what made me do this once a week. There was a period there. I will say you were a boon to us in New York during March and April because there was always something good to see every day. And then I realized, did you realize at a certain point that it was going to be longer than you had thought, or were you always going to do it every day? What was the plan?
Well, I mean, initially, of course, I thought it would only be a couple of months, 2-3 months that we'd need to be doing this. And it got to be that third month. And I realized, well, I've kind of got to keep doing this. So who do I talk to next was always the thing that I thought out that week before. And who do I reach out to? And I've been lucky to have some amazing guests locally and, of course, abroad. Been able to bring some people in that have just been amazing. And it's been a blessing to be able to do this, honestly.
Well, people that watch this show that don't know either of us may think that we are mortal enemies, but in reality, we are the best of friends and have the greatest respect for the fact that we are both trying so hard to grease the wheels of the new technology we have. Now, I want to be fair. One of the reasons, I think one of the advantages you have is that you are already in the world of computers. In what way do you code? Because you lead with it on the internet. So I'm interested for you to tell everybody what do you do? What do you do when you are not on stage breaking our hearts?
So my full-time position is a director of IT for a commerce company. And by commerce, I mean import, export, that type of thing. So I handle a number of offices helping these people work their computers. So I do have kind of a sly on IT and being able to put this stuff together. It has been beneficial. At the same time, I still learn new things every day. And we are making huge strides in this realm, this virtual realm. But I don't want to take away from the point that I myself, as well as you, are begging to get back on stage in front of an audience. So this is a stopgap for sure. But I think we've been able to do some amazing things in this time.
I think so. Something a lot of people may not know is that you're an incredible improv performer. In fact, you have a whole show that you are developing called Super Egos, which is an improv show that I have already been on, and I thought the taping of it was ridiculous, and then I watched the playback, and it was even more ridiculous. I wonder if you would do a quick improv exercise with me that I did not warn you about beforehand. Would that be all right?
I imagine so, Ryan.
So
I'll
because this is the 007 episode, this is the 7th episode of, and you convinced me to use 2 zeros before each of my, as a result, this is the episode that has a license to kill. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show the James Bond opening sequence with the circles. I can draw things in the air. I'm going to show you that, and when we come back to your full screen video, I would like to hear your best Bond villain monologue. Are you willing to do that for me?
I think I can attest to that statement. Yes.
Take it away. Things I don't have rights to.
Well, Mr. Bond, I see you've discovered my plan. Well, you won't get very far now that I have you trapped on this table, and this buzzsaw is racing toward your neck. How will you get out of this, Mr. Bond? Mr. Bond! Oh, you have a laser in your pocket. Okay, well.
Yes, I do. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Bass! I should have warned him, but he was great nonetheless. Oh, wait, here we go. Ellen says, yes, improv, yes, and go. Chris, go, Ryan.
Yes.
I think it's like she's getting to enter one word every time she circles around on a merry-go-round. Yes, improv. Oh, now we got a yes and a yes and yes. See, there you go. Sometimes making this show is like being on a merry-go-round.
It really is. It really is.
Laura Darrell's in the green room. Laura, can I bring you back in for a second? Is that all right? Okay, give me a thumbs up because I can't hear you. Is that all right? All right, Laura's coming in. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, that was great. You were perfectly evil.
Chris, I'm going to allow you, Laura, I'm going to ask one more question of you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so Chris, I'm going to let you ask a question about. I know you're fascinated about her experience in working in Frozen at the Hyperion in Los Angeles. So I'm going to let you ask one question about being a Disney princess, and then we got to go to commercial because Mikki's coming.
Okay, Laura, I just want to know how did you feel that you enabled yourself to be Anna? Because Anna is she's a pivotal character. What was it that brought you into that headspace?
Well, to be very honest, I don't feel like I'm more than a stone's throw away from Anna in my real life. I'm a very I felt like I understood her awkwardness and her social anxiety, but her desperation to be loved, her devout love for her sister. I have a sister, so it honestly was the perfect princess for me. And I really loved playing her. I can't lie.
That's amazing. I'll be honest with you. My daughter also plays Anna from time to time. They have these princess parties that they do here, and she often gets asked to play Anna. So kudos to you. And I'm going to let her know that I actually talked to you, and she's going to it's going to blow her mind.
It was a really fun production. Disney does it right.
They really do. Yes.
I have to see her do her Anna. I bet she's pretty amazing.
Well, I'll see if I can't pull that together.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Look what a professional. Yes, I know, Chris. Thank you. Chris, I'm trying to do 5 things. We can't all be as good at your show as you are. All right. For those that are just joining, if you have 20 minutes, Chris, to get a presentation from your daughter.
I'll try to put a PowerPoint together.
Excellent. Just start listing it with bullet points.
Okay.
Laura, we're going to say goodbye to you again. Thank you for coming back.
Of course.
Bye, Laura. For those that are just joining us, that was Chris Bass showing what his show looks like. So what we're going to let you do is at the end of the episode, I'm going to put up a question. Whose show is better, Chris's or Ryan's? And whoever loses has to stop making the show for literally the rest of time. Also, please put in the comments what show you think Chris Bass and I should do together when I am spending more time in Savannah. What show should the two of us be in, and what characters should we play? Bonus points if we cause mischief amongst each other. Chris, I took your name down. People might not know it was you. There you are.
Somewhere over there.
Yeah, it's over there to the bottom left. Chris, thank you so much for being part of the show today.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure we will continue our discussions on Messenger.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you will keep being one of the most inspiring figures in the community, and I mean that with utter sincerity. I'll tell you this honestly, for those that are watching, it takes a certain amount of effort to be in the theater. It takes a certain, much more difficult amount of effort to keep theaters working together. And Chris, I feel like you have worked with so many of us. You are so well respected in the community, and the fact that you took the opportunity to try to bring us closer together because you knew everyone so well is very much appreciated by many people, including myself.
Well, I'm not going to tear up right now, but later I will sob completely. Thank you so much, Ryan. It is an honor to be on your show, and it's an honor to be your friend.
Well, good heavens. No one's allowed to cry on my show, so goodbye, Chris Bass.
Goodbye!
You know what would be really mean is if I continue to bring him in without warning him for the entire rest of the episode. Well, that worked out just about as well as I thought it would. We'll be right back with Mikki Sodergren!
Even more fun in fruit roll-ups. A free Crayola drawing marker in every box.
I sometimes wonder what happened to the songs, like the songs that were in those 80s ads, because I mean, I was around for some of those, and then I was around in the 90s, and the songs at a certain point just stopped. Like hit a brick wall, stopped. And one of the great joys of this show is going back and watching the 45-minute highlight reel I have of 80s commercials and realizing that there are some tunes in there that are toe tappers. That one included. It's another one that I don't have the rights to. My next guest is an actor, a singer, an artistic director, and is pretty well known because of things like this.
That was gone, but used to be mine. Oh, it used to be mine. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She is all of this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be mine.
Please welcome to the show. She's not gone. She's right here. Mikki Sodergren, everyone. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'd been practicing that intro line all day, and then I almost forgot to do it. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was on your website looking for, I wanted people to hear you before I brought you in, and I was looking at the clip to do, and I love that song. And obviously, like, I could have picked the 30 seconds in the middle where, you know, it's got the most acrobatics and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then just what you were doing with the lyric at the end was, I thought, just so evocative and so lovely. So that's the part I wanted to show.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Ryan.
That was, I believe, from American Traditions 2018.
Yes.
But you yourself won American Traditions vocal competition in Savannah in what year originally?
In 2014.
Excellent. And you did not just win it, you won lots of versions of it. Can you, for those that are watching that may not be familiar with American Traditions, can we get a little background and also what you did the first year that you won?
Yeah, so the American Traditions competition is a competition that celebrates all styles of American music equally. We don't put any on a pedestal over a different style. So, you know, we do have specialty awards that relates two certain styles that are sponsored by people that have a certain interest in those styles, like jazz or opera or songs written by Johnny Mercer. Sometimes we have an award for musical theater. It just kind of depends on who sponsors awards each year. So I actually competed for the first time in 2013. I took second place, and then I came back in 2014, and I was very committed to having a second shot at it. And I won the gold medal, which was a huge honor. That was sponsored by the Courtney Gaines Foundation, actually. And I also won the Jazz Award, which is named for Ben Tucker, which never used to exist. And unfortunately, Ben Tucker had passed the year before. So we have an award in his honor now every year for jazz. And then we also have an award for opera. And that's with Savannah Voice Festival in conjunction with them. And we also have an award for Johnny Mercer songs, which is sponsored by the Friends of Johnny Mercer here in Savannah.
That's wonderful. And I was hoping you would bring up Ben, because I was going to if you didn't. Ben, an incredible collaborator, one of the kindest musicians that I ever had a chance to know. Not only now is there an award in American Traditions, but there's also at least in the past, and we'll talk about what's happening this year, but in the past there had moved to the Ben Tucker Theater as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
At least a year or two had been, right?
Yeah, last year we moved to the Ben Tucker Theater for the finals. I don't think it had been built yet previously. If it had, I think it was pretty right around when we had our competition the year previously, right. So it wasn't an option for us. We were at the Trustees Theater before that, and we've been at the Savannah Theater many times. We love exploring different spaces around Savannah, and just getting to know them. But the Ben Tucker Theater was very special to be in there last year. We would have liked to be there this year.
That was what I was going to say. Obviously, I am so excited to talk about what is coming up for the competition. But I also want to talk a little bit about the fact that you have a very extensive resume. You've worked all over the place. You were a New Yorker for many years, and I'm sure still have a great deal of your heart there as well. But so what was the connective thread between second place, winner, and artistic director? Because that's not the most logical jump, but it seems to be one that has paid off in spades for you. So what was your journey to get to the directorship?
Yeah, so we actually have a tradition at our organization that the winner from the year previous comes back as an ambassador for the contestants. We ask them to come back. They perform. They do outreach in schools. They do a concert for the public, usually during the night of the finals when the judges are deliberating who's going to win. So we kind of entertain everyone with the past winner, and they're there as a resource for the contestants as well, having just gone through it the year before. So the past artistic director, his name was Vail Rideout, and his wife usually acted as his assistant. So the first year when I came back, which was 2015, I was ambassador, but I took on a little bit of extra work because his wife is there, and I believe she was pregnant at the time. So the next year, she has a less than 1-year-old, right? So again, he needs help, and I already did a lot of the assistant stuff. So they brought back the winner, but also they brought me to do the assistant work. And so then I just started kind of doing a little bit more here and there. I started to take over the social media accounts. And then when Vail stepped down, I think they just decided to go with someone who already had been kind of picking up the ropes from him. So it wasn't even really like a search happened. It just was right place, right time. And it did work out very well for me. So many singers and musicians right now are completely out of work, and actors too. There's like nothing. So I feel really grateful to have this job.
As one newly elected, fairly newly elected artistic director to another, yeah, this was a good time to do a pivot. Yeah. For a moment. Now, obviously, you got one full season under your belt as artistic director in the normal times, right? Last year was your first full year, or two? Was it two?
Two or three, actually. I don't remember. Actually, this is my third or fourth year. I should remember.
If you can't remember, it might be because it's all been so much fun.
I'm having fun.
Yes, I have found that the times that I can count every rehearsal and performance are the times when I started to dread them. So that's probably for the best. Yeah. I do want to talk about, and I apologize, I didn't get your email with the images until the show had started, but I did find this one.
Yes.
And I figured it would be a good enough start to explain to us what is happening this year. And also, who is this person that is on literally all of the advertising? Because this is like the coolest pose in the world.
Isn't that so epic?
So my first question is, who is this person? And second, what are you doing this year? Because obviously it was the which year is it this year? 27?
This is going to be our 28th year.
So obviously you don't want to break the cycle. So what are you doing?
So this person is Carol J. Bufford.
Great.
She is our winner from 2020. So just from past February. She is a superstar. I mean, she is just like this powerhouse entertainer, just full package entertainer. She's an amazing singer, an amazing artist, musician. She's an amazing actor. She has this way with words. She just is a really well-versed cabaret artist. I actually saw her perform years ago in New York. She used to have a long-term residency at Birdland. And she did, I think, 2-hour-long sets every Monday night, I think is what it was. And each week had to be different music.
Wait, she decided it had to be that way, or they were?
No,
assisting?
they decided. I think they decided it had to be completely different music.
That is a significant responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like a song machine, right? So she came in and she's an entertainer. She's just there to make everyone have a good time. So she rocked it. I mean, it was hard to choose a photo for our posters and everything because every photo of her is so epic. But we liked her earrings swinging in them.
Yeah, it's great. And and to the content on the poster, what is happening? This seems like it's opening the competition up in a way that it's never been before. So what is happening?
Yeah, so people have asked us for a long time to live stream the competition, and it's actually a pretty tricky thing to live stream in terms of rights. Like you're talking about things that you have rights for. So that's actually going to be probably our biggest challenge this year, but we are taking the competition virtually. We took a hard look at our mission statement, which is to promote and preserve American music. And in our mission statement is that we do that by producing this professional vocal competition. So we're actually not serving our mission if we don't hold the competition.
Great.
So, as an organization, our board put our heads together and we pulled singers from past years. We pulled past winners, pianists, judges, patrons, people that have been a part of our organization. And we talked to them about a lot of things. And 100% of the singers we asked said they would not travel to Savannah to compete. One of my favorite things, I will not say who said it, but he called Savannah the crackpot of coronavirus. He said, I ain't going there. So.
Okay, good. There you go.
I now live in Savannah, and I have to say it's not such a crackpot, but I thought it was a really funny turn of phrase. But that kind of summed up how all the singers felt. They felt that so many singers who are in our competition come from New York City. And after the traumatic experience that we had in New York in the spring with coronavirus, I just think there's just this hesitance to go out to the world. They take it so seriously in New York in a way, especially artists in New York, right? And it's just affected them in such a different way than the rest of the country. So
I concur.
Yeah. I mean, I lost all my jobs in one day besides this. So, it's a choice that we made out of desire to keep everyone safe, out of desire to keep everyone healthy, including patrons, judges, pianists, singers. They all have to be safe, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a major liability thing for any organization to potentially enter into that. And that's something we talked about too. Is that a risk that we want to weigh? We decided not to. And after looking into how all these other competitions have done things, we ended up looking at American Idol the hardest. And American Idol, if they can do it, why can't we do it? We have different styles of music, but it's already been done. It's precedented. And people watched it, and maybe it's not going to be the same. But at the end of the day, we're spreading American music. Mm-hmm. And people, artists, singers, actors are going to get paid, which matters a lot to me personally. And it really matters to organization that we continue with our mission.
I love it.
So it's great.
I have a question from a viewer. The question is from a Chris Boss.
Who is that?
It's, actually, I don't know why I'm even showing you. He's just going to come in and ask the question himself. Chris!
Oh, great. Chris!
Now, I warned you. Oh, look who's muted now.
I did that
Look
on
who's too cool. I'm sure you did. I've been watching you keep like performance ready faces because you didn't know when I was going to bring you in. Please ask your question of Mikki because I think it's an important question.
Yeah.
And then leave again.
So, Mikki, you started something new last year, or the organization started something new last year. Let me ask you a little bit about that. The Junior American Traditions Competition.
Yes, the Junior ATC. We had a really great time doing it last year. It's open to regional high school students, preferably and specifically Savannah, but we did have some people coming from South Carolina and Florida as well. And it's kind of cool to see that, students in other states are really interested in an extra singing opportunity. So we are still going to be having that. However, due to basically a lack of venues, we have decided to push it to the spring. It's also a liability issue, especially when you involve minors, to hold a event like that. So it's definitely something we're still going to be doing. And if it comes to the point in the spring that we are not actually able to do it live, then we've already produced a virtual competition. We know how to do it and we can do it again. So that's kind of our plan with that. And I believe I'm going to be talking about that with Mr. Chris Bass on Tuesday.
Yes. And I am changing my name, so it's okay to say it now.
Chris Brass. It's a showbiz name.
That's right. Chris Brass.
I did it again. That's enough from Chris Bass. Thank you for coming back, Chris Bass.
Chris.
I may or may not have you back on at the very end of the show to do something ridiculous. Bye.
Excellent.
Mikki, every time he comes in, he asks better questions than I do. But I'm happy that you're here.
I think you both ask great questions.
Thanks, Mikki. I have something I want to promote for you. You did not say in your email that you needed it promoted, but I found it and I wanted to talk about it because it's really cool and I'm going to be enjoying it because it's got a live stream component. Also, please praise your collaborator if you feel like it because your collaborator is a friend of mine and I love it when he gets praised. So what's going on Monday? How can we learn more?
Actually, nothing's going on Monday. That
I'm
got
so
postponed
sorry.
yesterday.
Wait, what?
It's okay. They're going to be making an announcement, but someone on the team had a COVID situation, so the concert is postponed. It's going to be October 26th.
Okay, we'll see. Let's show this, and I'll cover it with your name again. There, you can't see the date anymore, so it doesn't matter. Okay, please tell us about the new date.
So I'm going to be doing this concert of Hammerstein and Hart with Asaf Gleisner under the auspices of the Hilton Head Symphony Orchestra. I absolutely love working with them there. I sang with the orchestra last February. So I love John Morris Russell, Marianne Corvaya. They're all just wonderful people. Alan Jordan is their executive director, CEO now. So they are just an amazing team to work with. And they have this beautiful cabaret space called Soundwaves. So they're doing these live stream concerts. So we are going to be doing one of all Hammerstein and Hart. And what's amazing is that so much of Hart's work is with Richard Rodgers, but the songs, this is going to be exciting to say, but the songs are better than the Rodgers and Hammerstein songs.
Were you on for Laura's interview? Because you just brought our whole show full circle, and I'm so pleased. I
came in like 10 minutes into her.
Oh, we were just talking about John Kander's work with other collaborators being disparate from anything that had happened with the same thing with it is. I saw what your show's concept was, and I had that thought myself that the music is. That's a lot of different grooves in that concert, and you are working with another recent New York transplant. Savannah is gaining artists at a remarkable rate right now, yourself included. When
are you moving here?
What's that?
When are you moving here?
Oh, I'm going to stay in both places. Oh, hadn't really thought about that yet. I see. You throw the hardball questions, and I put up the poster with the wrong date. No, I have every intention. My time in Savannah will go up significantly as soon as I can get home without a 2-week quarantine. So I am waiting. I'm waiting for that moment that I don't have to fly back and hide in my studio for 2 weeks. But and as soon as you have that, you have my word that I will be down there because you know how much I love the city. We all do. That's why so many of us end up there. So looking forward to the concert, which I now have so much more time to get ready for. I was actually going to have to be embarrassed and say I wasn't going to be able to watch it necessarily, but I will be able to watch it in a month, so that works out great.
Good.
Mikki, any if Savannah Rep was to program musicals again, what's a musical you think Savannah would really love right now? What's a musical you have either done or have always wanted to do? Something you think that the audience that you're learning so well would love?
Well, I had heard talk a little while ago of maybe Secret Garden happening, and I
had heard those same whispers and rumors.
I think that would go over very, very well. And I feel like there's a lot of people that have moved to Savannah. Not to say that people in Savannah couldn't do before, but I think there's a larger pool of selection of people that might be a good fit for the Secret Garden.
I think that's fair. I think you may have just scooped a story there.
Oh no.
No, I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I can't say that you're right because there's an ongoing conversation with rights and licensing, and one of the things we're discovering in this era, as I know you are, is that suddenly there's a streaming possibility which is starting to be built into all of these already extensive rights negotiations. Mm-hmm. So that is something that Jen Bishop, our managing director, is working very hard on. But yes, I think that would be a show that would be very well received. In fact, Carol Ann says Secret Garden with an exclamation point.
Carol Ann agrees.
So you heard it somewhat here first because I can neither confirm nor deny, but Mikki, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
Big fan.
Big fan. I'm so grateful that you came, and I love that our audience has presence on both coasts and in Savannah, because I would love for more people to know about the competition, just because I think it's a wonderful concept. It's been going for so many years. Mm-hmm. Obviously, one of our mutual dearest friends, Roger Moss, has played a huge role over the years.
Love Roger.
And I will say, of all the people that are relatively new to Savannah, you are the one that has literally been told to me 6 times I needed to get to know immediately.
I've been told the same about you. I'm so glad this worked.
Well, I'm glad we're on the show together then.
Yeah, me too.
Mikki, you've got so much coming up. I'm looking forward. I may even put my hat in the ring for the first time ever for Traditions.
Thank you.
And hope everything continues to go well for you. We'll be talking again really soon, and when you're on Chris Bass's show, I hope it's not as good as mine.
I'm excited to see who wins this battle, actually.
Yeah, I'm bringing it back in. It's going to be, yes. If you're watching on a second device, Mikki, this is your turn to vote since you've just had a profound experience of both. You're probably the first, except for Chris Susi, who's just omnipresent. I think you're the first crossover guest. Chris is nodding. Mikki, we'll see you soon. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan.
All right. My guest is Mikki Sodergren, who is the artistic director of an incredible competition which is going virtual. I said that so I could bring it up. There it is, American Traditions Vocal Competition, going virtual for the first and let's all hope last time. Apply by October 18th, 2020. All right. Here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Please welcome back to the show Bond villain Chris Bass.
Strangely quiet. But now the storm simply rests. I'm sorry. I had that song in my mind for some reason. I don't know why.
That's the strangest thing. I was going to start when it was my turn, and the problem was going to be that with the delay, we were both going to look like we were rubes, and I don't think
that's why I stopped, because I'm a professional.
That's true. Hey, this is the moment to vote in the comments. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, just write Chris or Ryan, and I'll take the first one that I see, and that will be the vote on whose show is better.
Oh man, this is going to be tough.
Mikki says in the private chat, Chris is ready for Secret Garden. Chris, you literally, I think you came out of the womb ready for Secret Garden. You came out with that hair and that beard and ready to sing Mandy Patinkin vocal lines. Oh, I saw a comment, and it is...
Yes!
Well, Chris Bass has written Chris in the comments, and I, as the host, cannot access my own comments. All right, well, I have to give up doing the show forever. Thankfully, we weren't actually playing for any real stakes.
That's right. Do not give up the show forever. You are doing an amazing job, and I so appreciate this venue for both of us that we're able to do this and spread the good word.
We've been having a good time. My guest again is the wonderful Chris Bass, everyone.
The wonderful Ryan McCurdy.
Well, that is one of the shortest shows that we've ever made, and yet it is still longer than it was supposed to be. One of these days, OnStageOff will be exactly an hour, and that will be the day I forget how much I like talking to my guests. Friends, it is Friday at 5 p.m. It's actually now Friday at 6:03. My name is Ryan McCurdy. Just a quick reminder that if you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the hoops, the silly hoops that we jump through to bring you our friends, neighbors, and collaborators every Friday, this is a great time to help Savannah Repertory out. We have a theater that is not being used, and yet, remarkably, it still costs the same amount. So I've put up a URL, savannahrep.org/ghostlight. We ended at the end of August an incredible campaign. We raised just about $18,000 to pay for our overhead until we are back again in front of you and live. I will say for both September and October, while our initial Pave the Way campaign is over, we found an incredible anonymous patron who is matching the first $500 in donations that we receive in September and then again in October. They are incredible, and we are very grateful to them. We also want to take every penny of the money that they have offered. We are at $300 for September with a goal of $500 in just about a week to make it. So if you are able to give and like the content that we're bringing you as much as possible during this crazy time, savannahrep.org/ghostlight. And I know that Chris is still in the green room because I'm pretty sure he never leaves. So I'm going to show him that Carol Ann said, "you guys," which could mean a lot of things. I'm going to take it as the fact that we're doing something right here. So thanks to my guests, the incredible Laura Darrell, the wonderful Chris Bass, and the exquisite Mikki Sodergren. We will be back next week because that's the promise I made to you, and that's the thing that we're going to do. Until then, take it away, Mary Chifo.
Till next time, great stories, great theater.
The Ghostlight, a single bulb left center stage after each performance, has traditionally served as a supernatural offering to those who came before us and those we have lost, to ensure that the theater, their theater, never goes dark.
That the magic of theater continues. Theaters from Broadway to the West End, Los Angeles to Savannah may be closed for now, but their ghost lights remain lit.
Our spirits remain hungry, our responsibilities clear. We look at this as an opportunity, a chance to build on the work we've done.
A chance to embrace our theatrical roots and create new adventures.
What we do now paves the way for the years to come, for the Savannah rep of the future.
We promise that the ghost light will burn brightly until it is safe to begin again.
It is our responsibility to carry on the traditions that precede us. We are Savannah Rep.
A home for great stories and great theater. The hands of the clock will move again, and this is not the end of the story.
It's a new beginning.
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 And we'll see you soon.
What? Why am I here?